we're always reminded we are set in the province.
There were times na even outside of rehearsals or even if we're not on stage, parang we were forced by and just so we could practice the accent to even kahit ordinary lang conversation to still carry the Ilonggo accent just so we get used to it, so we could get used to it.
We had this, I personally had a challenge na when something is when the character gets very emotional, medyo challenge yun kasi parang may trick na the accent would somehow diminish because you're very emotional, so galit ka or masaya ka, so ano yun? And then he had a tip to just really practice or really consciously or maybe kahit push your Ilonggo as in to the limits kasi talagang Ilonggo accent and then para it would just come naturally kahit ano bang emotion mo parang it was really challenging, super challenging.
Mr. Mario Ornato, would you like to say?
That's one of the questions that I have several plays staged that presented at the Kennedy Center, and then we will have something like this right after the performance also. And one of the questions that was asked of me, interestingly also, is something like that. So who do you write your plays for? Do you write for Americans? Do you write for Filipinos in your country? Or do you write for Filipinos based in America, etc., etc.? And I've always been very consistent. It's fine if you appreciate me here, etc., but I really want to bring my plays home. Unfortunately, none of my plays have been staged in Antigua yet. So this is my way of bringing my province with me wherever I am. So I wrote the play during winter season, and I was alone. Everybody went home, my American classmates. I got stuck in DC because I couldn't afford to go back to the Philippines. So during one wintry Christmas, I decided to revisit my childhood, and it was very warm. It was Antigua, dusty, etc.
So you would oppose any suggestion to translate this into maybe Tagalog?
I have no problems also with if someone were to translate it in some other language.
But it would retain the material first because the first time it's going to be staged. So I wanted to work with all styles. So the easy way would have been to translate it in Tagalog. But then we tried to find the reason why they're speaking in English. And so we established the layers when they start as storytellers. So they speak in English. And so that sets the tone that they are only storytellers telling a story. And so that's why they are in English. But we decided to add the accent. It wasn't written that way. It was just written to be straight English. And so just to differentiate the storytellers from the kids, the characters, and then back to the adults. So we decided to use the accent to separate those realities.
About the actors, I can imagine how introspective you were while rehearsing. Since I'm kind of depressed after watching it because of I can see like the transformation from 16 years later. How you outgrew each other after. Do you have any parang what's running through your mind while rehearsing? Kayo, meron din ba kayong experience na binabalikan?
Running in my mind. Well, during the master creations. Kasi, alasin lang. Last scene was really tricky. I guess yun yung pinakamahirap i-rehearse talaga, especially if we, in the process of rehearsals. Like, let's just do that epilogue scene. It's kind of hard because we needed that, the whole baggage of really needed to, ako personally kailangan namin pagdaanan yung buong thing just to feel the awkwardness, diba? And yung uncertainty, do I really miss you? Do I want to reconnect? Do I have unresolved issues? Am I looking for answers?
So yun, lahat yung tumatakbo sa utak ko. I guess it's the magic of acting kapag, action by action every time I see Abner or Thea sa last scene, they also have that. We don't talk a lot, we don't talk much about, lagi nga sinasabi ni Ed, huwag natin masyadong i-rehearse sa last scene. Diba? Kasi hindi dapat siya masyadong pulido or hindi siya dapat, it should appear like it's so scripted. This is the point of the last scene. So, pareho rin ni Sir Glenn, I guess, na those moments na you were asked by your friends, diba? How are you really? Basta naman talaga. And then the most polite way of saying, of answering is, it's always, okay lang. Okay ako. Ako man, ikaw. Marami actually lahat ng tayo bigyan ng moments.
How are you?
Sa akin, ayun, personally, hindi ko kung bakit favorite ba? Basta gusto ko yung last scene. Kasi nga, hindi siya nada-nurse, pero yun yung pinaka-laging nagtitiba. Palagay ko, yun yung laging nagtitiba sa bawat performance. Yun yung, hindi ko lang timpla ba, o
During the start, I mean the production, there were no rehearsals yet. Ed sent the script, and of course I read it. And then later on, he started sending me photos of images, of ideas, of color, tone.
It's a print of a Grimm fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. There's a colorful house in the middle and there were dark branches around. So I asked her.
Yeah, so basically, it helped me a lot because when I saw the picture, I kind of knew how it would sound. And of course, when I read the script, it's easy to make good music if the material is great. So, when I read the script, it's already very powerful. And when I saw the rehearsals, the actors were doing well and still pushing each other further. So, the music was just there to support the material, especially the sensitive scenes. I really love silences. I think that's the music of the scenes, and the music the scores are rests for people to read, but the tension that is brought by the silence, that sets the music for me. So and basically I believe that I did the music, but I think the actors and everyone else were all composers. Everyone composed the feeling, the tone, the mood, which is very, very.
Mark, you want some? June?
Picking up from the playwright's idea, and sinasabi niya, when you're asked, how are you, and the actor can mention that, you always say the modest way of saying, I'm okay or what. But I'll address my question to the director. Between the three characters, in your opinion, who ended up probably happy in the end?
What?
None.
That was the beauty of the play actually. He left them in a bad situation. And I think and that's more real for most people. Maybe not in a bad position, but in an uncertain situation. And I didn't want to tie the end. We wanted to stick with that, the way it's written. There was no closure. I kept reminding them there's no closure in the play. And I think that's the one quality of the play that I really like. It's not a happy ending. And if you were depressed, we did our job.
But don't tell it when you post it on Facebook. let them come and experience the play like the way you we all had been touched by the play. My two roots, one mother and one career girl. Comments, please.
Congratulations.
Yes, Sam.
Yeah, in the end, what do you want the audiences to come away with after seeing this? Like, what, I mean, you know, yeah, like,
We don't want to decide for the audience. I think they just have to go through it. If it triggers something in them, then that's it. I mean, you can never predict or manipulate an audience's reaction or what they take away from it. Because the same with memory, we have very different memories, and certain scenes will trigger something for certain people. Some scenes they will just brush off, and those things that we could probably just brush off would bring something to another. And it's the chemistry in the brain is so complex that we want them to experience something, and then what they take away is really up to them. That's why the loose end. If you think they were happy in the end, in your eyes, then maybe they are. It really is. I know it's sometimes hard to accept that there's no ending, but it is what it is.
I think that's my whole thesis when I wrote the play then. Some stories do not have very definite endings, and I'm fine with that. I wrote the play in 2005. At that moment, I felt this is the perfect ending for a work like this. Several years later, in 2014, I were to write this again, I would still stick to that ending. I think that one of the things that I always say as a playwright teacher is, I think a play is most articulate not through dialogue, which is the playwright's main tool for storytelling, but in the silences in between, the looks that actors give each other, etc., etc. I think there are so many of that in the play. So I'm very happy, and still I'm very happy watching the play, the input of the actors, the music that bookends the entire thing. I think they were more articulate than my script, and Ed said, etc. I couldn't have possibly thought that it would be like this, but I'm very, very happy. And
we were given a very good base, and we trusted the material. I think that's one problem sometimes when you have a new material. You try sometimes to force it to what you want it to be. And so what we did was really trust it and work with the obstacles, its awkwardness, its unconventional moments. We trusted it. And the thing is, we really did a good play. Yes. The collaboration part, I just want to say, it's organic. Like, everybody was there from the beginning. Even our production, our technical staff, they were doing the tech as actors. I keep giving them directions, not as tech people, but as actors. Because everything has to come together. How the lights are turned off, when is it turned off. So, I know it's tricky for them, but I give them acting motivation, so I think it helped them. And again, the rest is music. So everything informed. There was no God, basically, in the play. We just, what you give, and then we take it, and then we move around it, and then it's constant change, it's constant information from each other. So, there.
I think it started as a personal project, like a literal project. Again, my little project, like she got a 1.0, I got an 8 or something. But other than that, I think we were pleasantly surprised with this, like it's a press thing.
Yes.
We guessed in a TV show this morning. Ed and I would look at each other and what are you doing? How can this possibly happen? It's a little play. We never imagined it would really resonate with people.
Yes, I really want to grab this opportunity to thank the theater community, our fellow actors, all the audiences, directors that we worked before, for posting on Facebook and for, gathering people. And I think because really, this is an independent work. No one sponsored us. And we lost a lot of money for this. experiences, this what artistic experience that we have, because you know that's really the real gratification that we mark our and thank you for being here with us.
On our final note, may we just request our press friends to please buzz this, because the play on its 5th run will only run till Saturday. Well, of course, as a fan myself, I'd like this to run some other time again. And if I may plug in also, sana Ateneo can do it also with the different Ateneo units like Ateneo de Zamboanga, Ateneo de Davao. That becomes, diba? And then of course better, which is another home that I'm comfortable with.
The same will transfer to the Beta Theater Center sometime in August and September.
Sige,
There'll be a co-production in Beta. We're looking for that.
gusto mong panoorin mo.
Yes,
Yeah, Ed already said that what attracted to him to the matter was its open-endedness. What made you say yes?
Okay, personally, Abner and I were schoolmates in high school, but I was like 3 years ahead of him. But we only worked like, when was the last time that we worked together?
Hari Kubol, first Batang.
So, years ago. And then, Khalil, I didn't know Khalil, so, but when I read the play, that's it. I read the play. It has been like, reminding me or telling me for how many years already. I'm getting as an actress. Like someday, like, okay, okay. And then he sent me the script, and then I said yes. What about it specifically? My childhood, and I know Sir Glenn, so yun yung naka-draw sa akin. Kung ano ba, because I'm very, very attached to my childhood. Hindi ko alam kung super attached, pero parang, kasi alam ko lahat tayo may childhood. So hindi ko alam kung anong makukuha sa bawat sa actor, sa kay Teresa, kay Sir Glenn, kay Ed, o sa audience. At ang nakakatuwa, bawat run, lalo na for this run, fifth run, na nandun pa rin yung compare dun sa unang-unang beses ko na ginawa na parang ang tagal ko nang hindi nakaka-perform ng proscenium. May ganun kasi ako na personal na ang tagal ko ng proscenium na stage, ang tagal na parang there at so alam ko na ganun sa nakalagay sa script, so naka-draw rin yun sa akin. Tapos kung i-compare ko from the first hanggang sa last, sa itong run na to, nasasabi ko pa rin sa sarili ko parang, ay, gusto ko pala yung ginagawa ko. At sobrang after every show, naaalala ko si Sir Glenn. Tsaka kung ano man, hindi na excited si Sir Glenn, pero yung kwento ng bawat isang bawat isa na nakakatawa kasi bago pumunta dito, nag-Holy Week, pumunta sa kung saan beach. Ako, galing ako sa family reunion. Tapos pinag-usapan namin yung dad ko na nag-pass away years ago na nakausap ko yung tita ko. Tapos parang sabi niya, your dad has parang daming issues sa family natin. And your dad, he tried his best. And yung mga ganun usapan ko sa people who passed away na
parang nag-strike sa akin hindi yung memories. Parang at the same time, the memories are both universal and specific pa rin. Parang yung experience, I'm sure universal siya in a sense na sa lahat ng makakakita, kahit kami lahat ng gumawa, it's very relatable. Pwedeng hindi exactly ganoon, pero I'm sure all of us, that's why it's really important, I guess yung namin to share the experience or to tell the story. Because universal siya, we're sure na may matatap na memory sa audience. But at the same time, it's specific also because how we take it, para what the memories we remember could be unique, di ba? Unique. So if we ask na, for example, the playing of marbles or the first exposure, the
It's very sana hindi tayo share no? Anyway, pero yun, that's my point, diba? When we look at the scenes separately or the memories, wow, hindi ganun yung nangyari sa akin, but I remember this. At the same time, yung mga nakakilala ko, I know merong specific doon that you did not experience, I'm sure. Diba? May ganun. So, yun yung nag-strike sa akin. And every night, every performance, yung pwede na yung last night na I experienced, yung last night na half of the day while delivering the lines, I remember these set of memories. For the next night, different set na rin. So parang yun, yung magic na wow, every night merong refreshing feeling or memory na wow, kung ano nangyari pala sa akin yung bata ako, nakilala ko pala itong taong to, ganito pala ginawa namin ng taong to.
I guess I'll just take it from Kalino. Because it's very personal, and they say what's most personal is most universal, or what's personal is universal. So I guess that's the beauty of the play. When first read the material, which took me few more weeks pa yun, hindi ko pa mabasa-basa.
Last year lang, yes.
Pero nagka-cast na talaga si Claire. Sorry. But I'm really a fan of Sir Glenn, and I have worked with Sir Glenn also before. Pero ano lang yun, pero I am a fan of his work and how he uses, he promotes his Visayan culture in his works. And I'm also from Negros. When I read the story, I was just, I guess what made me interested was the truth of the material, the truth of the storytelling, and the challenge that we would have to take to tell the truth of the story. And it's amazing because every time it feels like a blank canvas. Only it's black, it's like a black canvas that we have to paint it with. It's like always planting a new seed every time, and we're always surprised. We take each other every after show, right? We're always surprised because we're always very happy. Like we would post status, thank you for doing this. Because I don't know, we couldn't get this feeling from somewhere else. This generosity from everyone, from even the audience. So, thank you.
All right. As is customary to my friends, and open your cameras. To the rest of the audience, please feel free to do so.